Welcome. So let's look at what has happened in the crypto market. All the cryptocurrencies were trading higher with Bitcoin consolidating at 21,000 levels, Ethereum up by 12%, increased demand for BNB, Solana, Dogecoin which was up by 28% and back into the top 10 cryptocurrencies. Shiba Inu was up by 42%. Bitcoin's price topped 10-day high as Bitcoin whale demand saw a huge upspike. In what appeared to be a dip buying, whale buying saw a huge uptick during the closing hours of market. When the whale demand fell drastically during the distribution phase at the all-time high of Bitcoin, during the closing hours it saw a sudden huge spike showing increased demand from large investors at 20,000 levels, forming a new support clusters in the process. If we look at the chart of Bitcoin, we can clearly see that 21,700 is acting as a strong resistance for Bitcoin's price. Only a move above 21,700 will take it to its next resistance, which is at 21,850. As long as Bitcoin's price is within 21,700 and 19,800, it will be in the consolidation phase. And if it breaks the levels of 19,800, which is acting as a strong support, this is the place where we saw strong buying from large investors. It will bring the price of Bitcoin down to 17,550, which will act as the next support. An interesting data point to see Bitcoin's chart with respect to CPI number release dates. Every time the CPI number, where the inflation data is revealed, was released, Bitcoin's price saw a downturn, which is understandable since the high inflation is what causing the bad state of our economy. The current downfall of Bitcoin has allowed small time investors to finally achieve their dream of holding one Bitcoin. Bitcoin recently trading at 20,000 range has finally allowed some small time investors to own at least one Bitcoin. Looking at the monthly close of Bitcoin's price, it closed 32% negative in the month of June, which takes the performance of Bitcoin in 2022 the worst since 2018. Good news for Uniswap, as Uniswap has overtaken its host Ethereum in terms of fees paid over a 7-day rolling average. This surge appears part of a recent spate of high demand for decentralized finance amid the current bear market. Even other platforms like Aave Synthetics have seen surge in fees paid over the past 7 days. Blockchain games were the subject of a report published by TapRadar Games last Tuesday. The report looked favorably at the healthy ecosystems and investments in GameFi and Metaverse market. Few days before, we talked about Solana Labs proposing a governance vote to take over a whale account or a large account on its platform to support its users. Turns out it has brought out a second governance vote to invalidate that wallet takeover. After a widespread criticism of that move, calling it the exact opposite of what decentralized finance should stand for, the community members voted for a second governance vote to invalidate the first one. Crypto exchanges around the world are facing bad times, and the recent regulation in India are making the lives of exchanges even harder. Big names in crypto industry are laying off their staff. Trading volume on voyager, which is India's fastest growing cryptocurrency, has fell off by 95% since October. This comes in the time when India introduced new taxes on cryptocurrency with 30% on obtained revenues and 1% TDS on all transfers. A few months ago, when the sector grew 600%, the recent laws make the country no longer a good market for crypto industry. However, RBI is now working on a blockchain project to fight against the fraudulent activities that stalk the country's banking system, which signifies that RBI is of favorable view of the technology, just not about the cryptocurrencies. Among these times, CoinDCX extends its withdrawal restriction, which started on May 13th. Coincidentally, with the crash of Terra Luna, CoinDCX has announced that a seamless deposit and withdrawal services will be provided after strengthening its compliance and risk framework, which has been prescribed by RBI. Interesting news about Metaverse, as Meta, formerly Facebook, and Microsoft join hands for an organization called Metaverse Standards Forum. It will develop the industry standards that will be followed by all organizations developing the nation state of metaverse infrastructure. Other companies like Huawei, Nvidia, Qualcomm, Sony, Epic Games, Unity, Adobe, all joined hands as founding members of this organization. However, big names like Apple and Google were missing. This news led to a 20% blow up in Sandbox prices, which is an interesting metaverse-led decentralized gaming platform. Rumors started floating around that Meta is going to acquire Sandbox. However, the CEO and the co-founder of Sandbox replied to Messari on Twitter that this will never happen. In other news, Bitcoin network power demand falls to 10.65 gigawatt as hash rate sees a 14% drop. We talked about earlier on this. As the price of Bitcoin falls down and Bitcoin mining is at an all-time low, the power demand for Bitcoin falls down as well. So thanks for watching the video. Do like the video and subscribe, and do comment how you feel about the recent developments happening in the crypto space.